Oh, this is Shani Melody back again. I am, as mentioned, I have not been on social media in some time, so I'm kind of struggling with my equipment and such. So excuse me if you're not able to hear me too clearly. I am tired. It is about 2 a.m. in the morning, the next day following the day that I just posted my other videos. I'm back giving the update on, not update, excuse me, continuation of the video part 4, where I was explaining was a few details. I meant to write them down, but I didn't. I actually overslept. So yeah, my day pretty much started pretty late today. But yeah, so I was talking about what was I talking about? Come on, Shani, think. The outlets, right? I said that they owed me a toaster, the landlords, and they did replace it, but I believe they replaced it with a grudge. So here's what followed that point, right? Where I'm thinking that the landlord and I have an understanding, or the landlords and I have an understanding. Mind you, either they connected with my children's father afterwards, or they connected with him beforehand. It was somewhere all around in that timeline. Like I was saying, I know for sure it all happened. I just can't remember like what days and times and things like that. I didn't get the chance to go through. I do have audio and stuff like that, video, because I stopped trusting them. So yeah, I did start making sure that whenever they were around me, I had some form of proof of their very skeptical actions, if that makes sense. So my crazy hair is back, so it is what it is. I've been wearing my hair like this for a while now, so a little vain, but yeah, I usually don't show my natural hair, so it's a little different for me. Anyways, my lighting is off. This is what I mean by my equipment. It's not working for me right now. Either way, I'm just trying to, okay, so all of these videos are just to inform those that may not have gone through, or may, what did I say? That may have gone through what it is that I've experienced, may be currently experiencing it, or may end up experiencing it. So I just want to kind of give a little insight on my experience, and hopefully help others who may be a little, lost on, like, am I tripping or no? Like, you're not. You're likely not. If your intuition is telling you something, the plan is to please obey it. Obey your intuition. Okay? So yeah, so the outlets, I think that's where I left off at. For some reason, they didn't want to fix my outlets. Remember, they pretty much left me, they didn't want to fix anything for about 10 months. My skin is so oily. They didn't want to fix anything for about 10 months. And it left me feeling like, this is interesting. Why would they, do things the way they did it? And it just left me skeptical at that point, you know what I mean? So yeah, it just kind of like really fell into place when that connection with my children's father happened. Whereas she called me on that 3-way call, and it's like, that's a breach of my personal information. If I told you that he is my offender, why would you connect with him, right? She plays it off as I don't know what you're talking about. Everyone can contact me. If they do it through a WhatsApp app, then it is what it is. And I'm like, that's interesting. That's cool. You know, I keep using that word interesting. I still find it interesting. It's cool, right? Okay, fine. Everyone can contact you. You're a realtor. Cool. The problem is you called me on a 3-way call. No matter which way you throw it, you breached my confidentiality, right? You did not care about my personal well-being. That's what it says to me. Yeah. So if you believe that these societies, so-called secret societies and such, will not infiltrate your rental or housing portion of your life, believe me, they will. I have stories for days regarding, this is more in detail, little, probably a little more, what is it called, FYI, than people are willing to listen to. And I'm okay with that. Understanding, like, this is, come on, who wants to click on a video that has someone personal information on it? But for me, it really isn't just about my personal information here. It's just my way of explaining my side of the story. And eventually I'll be cutting these things up into more smaller segments so that we can really focus on you all that once again can relate, will relate, or are relating, okay, or have related, so you know what I mean, past tense, present tense, and future tense. So yeah, so I started growing skeptical. I started recording our conversations at that point. Like, you're not going to be able to say something else crazy out of your mouth, and I don't have some type of proof. Oh, that's illegal. Well, her connecting with my children's father should have been illegal too, but the police didn't care. You see what I'm saying? So it shouldn't be a problem with me being sure to protect myself. That's what this was. This was me protecting myself. No longer will you be able to say something crazy out of your mouth and I don't have it on recording. Or I don't have it on my cameras, right? So at that time, I didn't have cameras. This is how much trust I had in these people and how much of a carefree nature I really, it had at the time. You know what I mean? So for me, I wasn't looking to repeat, or how do I put it? I told you I had just been attacked prior to all of this, right? Prior to moving to this apartment, prior to this, prior to that, I had already been attacked. I had already been betrayed. In fact, I ended up moving to an entire different city within the same state, just so I wouldn't be too far, because I had to leave my 2 oldest children behind. That's how quickly this betrayal took place and how swiftly and seamlessly it happened, to the point where my justice did not matter. Me constantly complaining and explaining that I felt unsafe around my children's father did not matter. The courts didn't hear it. They didn't care to. They sided with him each time. My family, I thought my family would have at least tried to fight for me. Instead, they ended up also siding with him. Once again, each character I will give a segment of their own. I'm not going to go that far back just yet. Not yet, right? I have told a little bit about, if you go over my videos from about 4 years ago, you'll see where I was able to make it clear that I had a a not so great run-in with my children's father. Let's just say all the way from the time of me meeting him, things were just, there was no foundation there. Let's just say that. Okay. So anyways, that's a story I've already told. Right now I'm going for what is more recent and what is current as far as attacks. So, yes, excuse me, it is 10:30. Excuse my oily face, okay? I have no makeup on other than the lipstick and things like that. And that's not a flex. I thought to put on a little bit of foundation, but I was like, no, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, like, no, go to sleep kind of thing. Anyways, yeah. So I reliving this story, it's like, so tiring and exhausting, but I'm here for it today more than I was before. So I want to just get through it, make sure that my details are on the table, make sure that, anyone else that wants to try to frame me behind the scenes or lie on me behind the scenes, really has something tough to kind of fight up against. You know what I mean? Really has something to, go up against. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have to go through all those videos. You're gonna have to really make sure you study every detail. And you're gonna have to really go ahead and line it up with the truth. Or, you know what I mean? Well, of course, they're not gonna try to tell the truth. But anyways, I don't want to be all over the place. So, remaining focused. I begin to feel skeptical. And I'm going to tell you why, as I mentioned. So I was, okay, once again, the timelines. Okay, so I might be mixing up the days, right? This might have happened on that day. This might have happened on this day, but it was all within the same time zone. Okay, not time zone, timing or time, maybe month, right? All within the same month, all within, within the same time period. Here we go. Within the same time period. So, I must have pissed her off. Like I said, I'm not sure if she connected with him afterwards or beforehand. It may have been beforehand. I believe it was beforehand. Yeah, because she was telling me about the parties and all the celebratory stuff, and I'm like, I know this. I know this pattern. I remember this. Remember, I've been betrayed before, so I remember the patterns. I remember their actions. I remember, so I'm like, okay, so I can see who you connected with. I can see that this was deliberate. And I guess she picked up on the fact that I understood what was going on. So she began to, like I said, she's now on the point of wanting to sell the apartment. The building, the apartment building. I don't trust her. I did clean things up like I was supposed to. I did, show her the pictures. She used them and so forth to show, her apartment building, pictures, and set them on her website and so forth, blankety blank, blank, blank. But I noticed something. She started showing me pictures of my neighbor's apartment. And I'm like, isn't that a breach of personal information once again? So then it dawned on me, wait a minute, if you're showing me my neighbor's apartments, you're damn sure showing them mine. So that means now they get a full layout of my home without my permission. And you may have only shown me breadcrumbs of what their apartments look like, right? I'm thinking this is all, at this point I should have sued you. You gave me so many reasons why I should have gone to the law on you, right? When I say so many reasons, I've fallen down the stairs because they didn't want to fix them. I have, it's a lot of things, Okay, they gave me reason to sue them. But I was trying to show grace and mercy, and that always backfires on me. I cannot stand that part of me. That Christ-like mindset really can backfire. Okay, it can backfire. And Lord did it. So yeah, I'm trying to be merciful. You know what I mean? Even with the bloody furniture in the back of my place, I tried to move the furniture myself. You know what I mean? I tried to get rid of it. You know, they left us, man, when I said this place was terrible, okay, it looked like they do some things on this property, okay? But I was in a hurry to hurry up and get my sons back, to the point where I was just trying to get out of my situation and fix my circumstances. I know that I'm a go-getter. I know that I'm someone that doesn't mind working. And so as soon as I was betrayed, I went straight into working again. I went, you know, and I was actually, that's too far back. I have to go back a little further on that one. Or when I continue my story. Right now I'm being attacked from underground. So you're seeing me hold this part of my neck. This is where I want to give warnings, right? I'm trying to get to the point where my neighbor came into the story in the first place. So mind you, okay. I go and, so somewhere in the story, I'm going to have to tell the part where I am not just being attacked only by my neighbor, only by my landlord, only by this one, only by that one. I also discovered an underground operation going on, right? So right now as we speak, I have my ways of being able to amplify the noise that is underground. And that's why they're attacking me, because, you know, what criminals want to be found out, right? So yeah, the little pains that I feel in my body, I know where they're coming from. I know I take care of myself. I know I exercise. I know I eat well, right? And so there's, you know, no reason for me to feel a sudden pain in my chest. There's no reason for me to feel chills running through my body for nothing, right? There's no reason for headaches every other day. You know what I mean? And then the doctors don't know what I'm talking about when I do go to the doctors. That's why. It's a tax. And so if you're dealing with that, if you're thinking you're losing your mind, okay, think about it. Ask yourself a question. Did I feel any rumbling, tumbling underneath me? Okay? This is an entire operation going on. Yes. When they want you, when they're targeting you, you will feel, because they're very sloppy with it. After a while, they're no longer covert, they're overt. Okay, I think I said that right. Okay, they're no longer doing it in a sneaky manner. They're just open with it. So they tell on themselves eventually, because they think they got you right where they want you. So please do keep your eyes and ears open, and that sixth sense as well, please. Do not ignore it. Do not tell yourself that you are losing your mind. That's what this whole series is for. I want you to be aware that you are not alone in this story. And I also want to make sure that I, you know, connect with those that help me to understand that I'm not alone. I've seen a lot of people on the internet speaking about, or I want to say a handful of people speaking about these things, and I'm like, wow, I'm going through the same thing, but I never connected with them. You see what I'm saying? So I know for sure somewhere along the way, you know, if it reaches just those few ears, it would help me. This is past the algorithm. This is past social media success. This is about life and humanity, and, you know, hopefully preventing crime before it happens, if that makes sense. yeah, so telling my story, continuing my story, excuse me. Yeah, so she shared my information with the neighbor, and she's sharing his information in, there's another neighbor that was upstairs from us. So there's a duplex, and then there's like another apartment I think I mentioned, but it sounds like they're both connected, right? So I still say it's a duplex. Either way, she's showing these pictures of these two apartments, and then of course you must be sharing my apartment pictures too, right? So here's where things go really bad. She finally got someone to purchase the property. Mind you, that whole month, we just have a bunch of people just coming through my home and looking at the place and just, sizing it up, and you know what I mean? Because these are purchasers. So they're happy with what they see. Person finally decides to buy the property, purchase the property. I'm still sitting there like, I know what I know, right? Going to the police once again, they did not want to take a report. I kept trying to say, I can see where this is going. That's one thing about your intuition, though. The world truly may not understand you on that level. You have to connect with like-minded people. It's a lonely place. It can be a very lonely place. Anyone that's intuitive would probably likely understand me in that sense. So yes, completely following your intuition can be a very lonely place. And this is just out of honesty, because people don't like truth tellers. They don't like whistleblowers. A lot of us whistleblowers and truth tellers find ourselves in some dangerous situations, right? Why? Because once again, these secret societies can move seamlessly throughout the world, okay? Working with what? Higher powers that are, mostly corrupt officials, those that will do some dirty work for the right price. You see what I'm saying? Sadly, or at least that's what it seems, allegedly. Okay. So yeah, here's my experience. So I go on to doing everything she asked me to do to sell this property, but that whole week, I want to say like a week before the property was sold, I started going into like these super, super, super deep sleeps and having headaches every other day. And it got to a point where I kept complaining. I said, man, like I'm feeling like my entire body is being sunken into my bed. That's how it feels, like my body is like heavy when I sleep. Like I literally am like laying down. I don't know if anyone knows what that feels like. I don't want you to know what that feels like. That is a very almost deadly experience. I mean, maybe that's not the right word. Excuse me. Almost, it feels like, man, it feels like you didn't even know you were weighing that much on your mind. This is mental weight, mental weight, mental and psychological weight. Like it was like, spiritual weight. Like this is, and I'm a heavy girl. I'll say maybe thick. You know what I mean? I'm considered to be thick. I am, heavier. So I'm okay with that understanding, but it was literally like I was carrying bricks around or something. By the time I lay down at night, I literally could not get up from my sleep. And I'm like, what is going on? Then I started smelling a bunch of smoke, right? I complained to my landlord, as she was still my landlord. I mean, as the couple was still my landlord. I'm like, hey, something's wrong. I'm constantly smelling smoke. Can you check on the neighbor next door, make sure everything's good? Something's wrong. Then I started smelling smoke from downstairs. Mind you, I am the first floor apartment. So anything under me is the basement and then underground. I'm like, why am I smelling smoke, and it's like breathtaking smoke. This smoke is like so peculiar. And I'm like, my whole room was smoked out. So I'm like, something's seriously wrong. I don't understand. Then I started seeing, like, I would leave my printer on and I would see across it Colonel something or another, right? And I'm like, why does my printer look like it's getting like hacked or attacked? You know what I mean? Like, it's a Wi-Fi printer. And I'm like, why does it seem like my, so then my Wi-Fi was acting up, my internet, my well, that's my Wi-Fi, my internet, right? One and the same. But my electricity, that's what I was trying to say, right? So mind you, we had the sparking plugs already, right? The sparking outlets that they didn't want to fix. Then we're having issues with the electricity, like lights just deciding to turn out and turn on when they want to. And I'm like, that's interesting. A little too interesting. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? I'm a spiritual person. So I'm like, hey, if it's a spiritual thing, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not scared. I'm good. Right? You know what I mean? But my children and I, we're like, 1 minute the lights are working, the next minute they're not. 1 minute the lights are working, next minute they're not. Here I am changing out light bulbs constantly. The light bulb don't want to work. Brand new. That's interesting. You know what I mean? So things are going real weird, real quick, right? Lord, I tell you. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just taking it one day at a time. I'm not blaming anybody for it. I'm not looking for nobody to, totally complain to other than the landlord. Like, hey, I'm noticing some things. Before you leave, can you fix, right? She's acting funny, completely funny towards me, right? Treating me like I did something wrong pretty much. And I'm like, okay, I can see now that I do not have your I do not have your respect, right? You do not respect me. You do not care about my well-being and my children's well-being. So that was clear to me. Like I said, over the years, I had to really give her a good talking to at times because she switched up on me quite quickly after I opened up to her about what I needed her to be on the lookout for, right? Or who I needed her to be on the lookout for. So either way, so I'm going through all of this and she ignores me. My complaints are being ignored. And I'm like, why is she doing that? If I'm telling you I have smoke within my home, something's wrong. So I called the police. Now I'm looking crazy. I'm calling the police constantly. I'm like, something's wrong. I can't breathe in my own room, right? Something's wrong. There's smoke. There's something. They come in, oh no, there's no smoke. Of course, because by the time y'all come, it's cleared out, of course, right? Like like, I don't know. Logic to me and logic to them, I guess just, I don't know. I notice that sometimes. Just, my logic, your logic may not, add up sometimes. So, anyways, I guess they're looking for it to be still smoky, right? So they can blame it on a gas leak. So they can blame it on this. So they can blame it on, natural disaster. I'm like, no, sweetheart, something's wrong, right? Something's a little deeper. Can y'all look a little deeper? I even told the landlord, I said, I'm actually hearing people downstairs and it smells like smoke. Can you please let them know? I think I have a text message saying this. Can you please let whoever it is know that I have asthma? Ask them to please not smoke in the basement. I'm thinking it's her workers, right? Because mind you, if you're getting prepared for selling your property, then you're probably having repairmen and da-da-da-da. But this is like 2 o'clock in the morning. What are your repairmen doing on a property? So I'm literally being able to hear these conversations. Then I start hearing vehicles. Tell me I'm crazy. I don't care. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. So I'm like, underneath me, I'm starting to hear vehicles. And it's like an entire world below me. And I'm like, there's no way that cars can go in the basement, right? Like, there's no, why am I able to hear? You can literally hear. Okay, so anyone that can hear the loud motor vehicles that are riding by, I hear a lot of people while they're doing their social media videos and things like that, you can hear these vehicles. So they're not, you know, once again, they're not covert, but these are the same vehicles that I would hear as if they were given a signal, right? Whenever I would walk into my bedroom. Now, I have to speak on that because before the property was sold, the male of the couple, the landlord couple, kept, every time he would come and so-called fix something, he would want to visit my bedroom. Mind you, I saw him look me up and down several times. I just figured he wasn't, like, the female told me that her husband was racist at one point. Is that a right word to even put? Was, you know, basically biased towards our kind, right? At one point. And she made it seem like she wasn't. You know, that's just something that her husband has to work on kind of thing, right? But every time he came around me, he didn't give me those vibes. So I was like, oh, okay, it must be her. Do you get my point? It must be her that's actually talking about herself. Okay, it looks like we're on a 30-minute mark, excuse me. And that I need to, you know, be on the lookout for her because clearly she's twisting up information here. But whenever he would come, my bedroom was never missed. And I'm like, I didn't ask you to repair my bedroom. I didn't ask you to, you know, I will always tell him my bedroom is going to be messy. Mind you, I did admit I'm a very messy person at times until I can't take it anymore, pretty much in a sense, right? Like I can't keep it that way too long. I do get busy, I get tired, overwhelmed. It's only me. I don't have anyone to drop my children off to make sure that I don't have any family that I can trust. To drop my children off to, right? So I'm pretty much doing everything on my own. And it leaves me at a position of exhaustion. And yeah, so like I said, I've already explained the whole situation with the messiness. And so I would explain to him, like I said, I'm a realist. The same way I'm explaining it to you all, I'm not the neatest, you know, person in the world. I explained to him, you know what I mean? Hey, I need you to fix this in the bathroom. I need you to fix this in the kitchen. And he would visit my bedroom each time. And I'm like, why does he keep coming in my bedroom? You know, if I was one of those females, I think you get my point, right? Because he would visit my bedroom like he wanted something. And I'm like, what is going on? And mind you, the landlords would pop by at times we did not talk about them popping by. And so I would not always be adorned, you know, modestly, if you will. Like, you know, I wouldn't always have all of my clothes on properly. Come into the door to answer it or to, you know, so it was that. Sometimes, you know, I had a robe on, which I don't feel is proper around someone's husband. You know what I mean? But if you're coming over and you're acting like I'm ignoring you at the door and such, then I'm hurrying up to answer the door, not thinking. There were times. So I'm like, I'm not trying to be a seductress for this man. I'm not trying to. But for some reason, this man, whenever he's not with his wife, because it was times he came with his wife, but other times, you know, it was like he just had to visit my bedroom. I'm going to leave this video here because I don't want it too long and pick back up.